In today's video, we are going to talk about how to set up a basic Active Directory home lab using VirtualBox, add users with PowerShell. Myself, Mohammad Zubair, and this channel is all about showing you how to become a highly paid IT pro really fast. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Well, to set up our lab, we need three things: VirtualBox from Oracle, Microsoft Windows Server 2019 version, and Windows 10 ISO. So first of all, let's search for VirtualBox in our Google Chrome, or you can use any your favorite browser. So I'll just write here VirtualBox, download, hit enter. It will give me a link from the official website of VirtualBox. Just click on that link, and from here we'll download our VirtualBox for our Windows operating system. If you are using Linux or Mac OS, you can go for that. As I'm using Windows, so I'll just click on Windows host. Here is the file. Well, I have already downloaded and installed it. That is why I'm going to cancel it. The installation process is really simple. You just have to follow the instructions given on the screen. So I'll just cancel this out and I'll open my VirtualBox now. So this is my VirtualBox and this is how it looks like. Now it's time to download an ISO file for our Windows Server 2019. So I'll just write here Windows Server 2019 download, hit enter. Click on the first link from the Microsoft. Go to the Microsoft Evaluation Center and give your information. After that, it will take you directly to your ISO download section. I'll download 64-bit edition. So just click on the link and here it has started the process. I have already downloaded it as well. That is why I'll just cancel this out. Now I'll head back to my VirtualBox and here I'll create a new virtual machine. For that purpose, I'll click on this new button and from here I'll name my server. I'll name it as Windows Server 2019. Type will be Microsoft Windows and in terms of the version, go with other Windows 64-bit. Click on next. From here, assign the memory to your Windows Server 2019. You can go with any value as per your liking and depends on the availability of the memory as well. I'm going to give it around 2 gigabytes. After that, click on next. Do not worry, click on next here or click on create and here click on next, again next, and here we'll assign the hard drive space and this is the directory where it is going to get installed. I'll change this directory. You can also do that. I'll go to my D directory and I'll create a new folder in here. What I'll do, I'll name this folder as Windows 2019 Server. You can name it anything. I'll open this folder and I'll save my Windows Server in this particular folder. After that, I'll change the value. I'll assign it around 60 gigabytes and after that, I'll just click on this create button. So we are done with the initial configuration of our Windows Server. Now it's time to click on its settings. It will open a new window for us. Let it get opened. Basically from here, go to your advanced tab and in terms of shared clipboard, go with bidirectional. Because with bidirectional option, we'll be able to drag and drop and we'll have a shared clipboard between my Windows operating system and Windows Server 2019. After that, go to system. Here we have its memory size. Then in terms of processors, you can assign any number of processors depending on the availability in your system. Then in terms of the display, you can also change the display value. I'll go with around 50 megabytes. Then go to your network section. From here, we'll create two adapter or we'll use two adapter. Why is that so? Well, as we want to create a home lab for our Active Directory, so for that purpose, we'll create an internal network in which our Windows Server and our Windows 10 that I'm going to install in VirtualBox as well will be able to communicate with each other. And that is only possible when we have an internal network in our system. So adapter 1 will be NAT And for adapter 2, I'll enable this network adapter as well. And in terms of its option, I'll go with internal network. After that, here we have storage. Just click on this option and from here, click on this empty and then click on this disk sign with arrow. Now I'll choose my server file. From here, I'll select my server ISO, which is this one. I'll just double click on it and now I'm good to go. So I'll just click on OK. Now it's time to start this virtual machine. So I'll just click on the start button or you can double click on it as well. Now it will start our Windows Server 2019 installation process. So let's wait for it. Here the process has started. Our VirtualBox is loading files. Again, it might take some time, so be patient and wait for it. And here it has started our Windows Server 2019. Now from here, leave everything as default and do not worry and just click on next from here. Click on install now and now the actual installation process will begin. As it says setup is starting. From here, we might have to do some of the settings or we might have to go through some of the options. So let's wait for it. Okay, from here we have to select the type of operating system. Go with Windows Server 2019 Standard Evaluation Desktop Experience. So just click on it and click on next. Now from here, click on I accept the license terms, click on next. Go with custom option because we want to install our Windows and then just click on next. And here we only have one drive, so do not worry. Go simply click on next and here it has started to read file, install feature, install update and then it will finish it up. It will take a little bit of time, so let's wait for it and I'll trim this out. I'll see you after we are done with this step. We are done here with the initial steps. Now it will restart our Windows Server 2019. Don't do anything in here, let it get restarted and then we'll move ahead. Here it is starting the services and getting our device ready, so be patient. As it says 33%, it will take a little bit of time. Well, as we are using it into our VirtualBox, that is why the process is a bit slow. Do not worry, give it some time and everything will be fine. Okay, now here we need to write our password, or basically we are setting our password in here. Make sure to remember it as well. After that, confirm your password or re-enter it and then click on finish. We are done with everything and now we are ready to use our Windows Server 2019. Here it says press Ctrl plus Alt plus Delete to unlock. So for that purpose, go to the top bar and here if you see we have input, go to keyboards and then click on insert Ctrl or delete. It will insert the command and it will allow us to enter the password to open our Windows Server 2019. So I'll enter the password that I had set earlier. Hit enter and we are good to go. As you can see, it is starting the user profile services and then it will do some of the other configuration and then it will open our Windows Server for us. Then we'll move towards the installation of our guest edition. I'll show you that how you can do that. We are done here. Our Windows Server is up and running. As you can see, Server Manager is also up and we can do anything with it. But before we move ahead, first of all, go to your devices section at the top bar and click on insert guest edition CD image. After that, open your file explorer and here if you see now we have VirtualBox guest edition available. Just double click on this and from here click on this file that says AMD64 at the end of it. So just double click on it in order to install it. It will install the VirtualBox guest edition and it will make sure that you have smooth experience using your Windows Server in your VirtualBox. And then you will also be able to drag and drop and copy and paste files from your Windows operating system to your Windows Server 2019 in a VirtualBox. Now here, click on next. Leave everything as it is, click on next and just click on install. Now it will start the installation process. We are done here with the installation and now we need to reboot this Windows Server 2019 to make sure that everything takes place permanently. So I'll just click on finish and our Windows Server will restart. We are back with the restart. Now again go to your input keyboard and insert Ctrl or delete. Again we need to enter our password and after entering our password we'll be able to use our Windows Server once again. After it gets open, now we need to see some of the internet settings because there will be two of them and one of them will work as an internet and second one will work as internal network. So let it get open, then we'll see which one is which. So we are back. Now I'll right click on this network, and from here I'll go to open network and internet settings. After that, click on change adapter options and it will open a window like this. So these two are network adapters, and if you remember, we went with two when we were creating our virtual machine in our VirtualBox. Right click on it and from here go to its status and then go to your details. Here if you see, here we have IPv4 address as 10.0.2.15, and then we also have default gateway, IPv4 DHCP server and DNS server as well. It means this is the internet that is actually working. So what I'll do now, I'll check the status of second adapter as well. And we also have to make one of them as an internal network. And here if you see, we only have IPv4, but we do not have any DNS or default gateway. It means it is looking for DHCP server and it is looking to find out some of the IP address that it can use. So it means it is going back to our internal server or our virtual machine. So this one will work as internal network and this one will work as internet. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to rename this so that we can differentiate between both of these. So I'll name it as internet, hit enter, and I'll name this one as internal. You can name them anything as long as you can differentiate between both of them. Hit enter and we are good to go. And before we close this one, we have to assign IP address here as well for our internal network. Now I'll assign the IP address to our internal network. Right click on it and go to its properties. After that, double click on Internet Protocol version. It will open this window. And here I'll assign the IP address as 172.16.0.1. In terms of subnet mask, I'll go with 255.255.255. So here I'll write 255.0, and in terms of DNS server address, either you can go with home address, which we know as 127.0.0.1, or you can use the same one that you have assigned as an IP address, which is 172.16.0.1. After that, click on OK and again click on OK and you are good to go. Now what we need to do, we need to change the name of our system. There is no compulsion in doing so, but it is always a good practice to have a system name that is understandable. Because if you see your system name right now, it will be something with some numbers, some alphabets and some random values. So let it get open and I'll show it to you. From here, scroll down and click on rename this PC. Here if you see, the device name at this time is Win-2BJ and something else. So I'll just click on rename this PC and you can rename it anything. I'll name it as SB. Then I'll click on next, and here we need to restart our system. So I'll just click on restart now. Click on continue. So let it get restart and then I'll see you. So we are back once again, and now this time click on add roles and features. From here, we'll include Active Directory, remote services. Click on next. Leave everything as it is. Click on next. And this is our server if you remember, and the name is SB. Click on next. And from here, what I'll do here, I'll include Active Directory domain services. So just click on this box or checkbox. It will open this small window. Click on add features and then again we need to click on next. Again click on next, and from here just click on install, and it will take a little bit of time to install this service. So we'll wait for it and then we'll move ahead. So we are done here with the installation. As it says, configuration required, installation succeeded on SB. Just click on close. Here if you see, we have a caution in here. Just click here and click on promote this server to a domain controller. It will open a small window in front of you that says deployment configuration. In here, we'll add a new forest. Let it get loaded and then we'll click on this option. So just click here, and now here we need to write the name of our domain. You can name it anything. I'll name my domain as mydomain.com. Basically, this domain will get used in order to access this Windows Server or Active Directory. After that, click on Next. And from here, we have to enter the password. So I'll enter my password. You can keep it anything, but make sure you remember it as well. After that, click on Next. And from here, again click on Next. This will load your NetBIOS domain name on its own, so you do not have to do it yourself. Let it get loaded. Here it is. Click on Next again. Here are the paths. Leave them as it is. Do not change anything and click on Next again. Now it will ask you to review everything, and then you'll be able to click on this Next button. And after that, just click on this Install button, and now it will start the installation process. At the moment, it is doing a prerequisite check, so let's wait for it. So we are done with all the prerequisite check and it says passed successfully. Just click on Install, and after we are done with the installation process, our server will reboot. Or in case if it doesn't, make sure to reboot it yourself manually. After we are done with this step, we'll move ahead. We are done here, and here it says you are about to be signed out. Just click on Close and it will restart our server on its own. So now it is restarting. Let's wait it and then we'll move ahead. Okay, we are back, and now if you see, now we have another account that says my domain/administrator. So I'll just enter the password that I had set earlier and hit enter, and now we'll log in as administrator. Now, instead of using this administrative account that is built in, we'll create our own administrator account for our domain. So for that, click on Start button, and here we have Windows Administrative Tools. Just expand this option, and from here go to Active Directory, Users and Computers. Make sure you select the right option. So I'll just click on this one. It will open a small window in front of me. So here I have mydomain.com. Now I'll just right click on it, and from here I'll go to New. Here we'll create a new organizational unit, and you can name it anything. As we want to create admin, so I'll name it as _admins. You can name it anything. It's all up to you. I'll uncheck the option that says protect container from accidental deletion. Well, I'm unchecking this because it might create a problem later. After that, click on OK. Now if I expand this, here we have a new organizational unit named as _admin. Now I'll right click on it, go to New, and I'll add a new user into this organizational unit. You can name your first name, then write your last name, and then your logon name. I'll write here my initial dash and my second name, and then it will be at mydomain.com. Again, it's all up to you that how you want to go with your logon name. After that, click on Next, and here have your password, because this password will be used whenever you try to access your mydomain.com with this account. After that, uncheck first option and go with the third that says password never expires, because in Active Directory there is a limit. After that, password gets expired. Or in case if you do not want it to happen, go with this option and then just click on Next, click on Finish, and we are good to go. Let me double click on admins, and here we have a user as Zubair Aslam. Now we need to create this user, or we need to make this user part of admin group. So for that, right click on it and click on its properties. After that, it will open a small window like this, and now click on member of. Here we'll add this user. So for that, click on add, and here I'll look for domain admins. Let's check it if it is available or not. Yes, we do have a group with the name of domain admins. So I'll just click on OK, and now Zubair Aslam is part of domain admins as well. Now after that, click on apply, click on OK. I'll just cross this, and now I'll log out from my Windows server that I have logged in as administrator. What I'll do now, I'll log in back as the user that I have just created. So I'll just click on sign out, and here again I'll insert Control or Delete, and instead of logging in as administrator or my domain, I'll go to other users, and this time I'll write the name of user that I have created. If you remember, that was Zubair-Aslam, and here I'll enter the password. Hit enter, and here it will say Zubair Aslam. Here it is. It means we have successfully logged in back to our server with the user that we have created. So we are back, and now what we need to do, we need to install network address translator. As we'll install Windows 10 ISO as well in our VirtualBox, so for that purpose, we should have network address translator in order to have communication between Windows Server and Windows 10. So for that purpose, again click on Add Roles and Features, click on Next, again click on Next. This is our server, do not worry, click on Next again, and from here scroll down and look for Remote Access. Here it is. Just click on this box, click on Next, and from here again click on Next. Again click on Next, and from here check the routing box because we want it. After that, click on Add Features and it will take direct access and VPN on its own. Do not worry, leave it as it is and just click on Next. Again click on Next, again Next, and now just click on Install. It might take some minutes to complete the installation process, so we'll wait for it. So just click on Close, and this time go to your tools on the top bar. Here, if you see, here we have router and remote access. Just click on it, it will open a new window in front of you. From there, we'll configure furthermore. Here it is, as you can see. Let me increase the size of this window. Now from here, right click on your server and configure and enable routing and remote access. After that, it will open a new window and click on Next. After that, as I have mentioned earlier, that we need to include network address translation. So just click on that option and click on Next. After that, if you remember, we had two adapters. First one was internal and second was internet. I'll select the internet, which is DHCP. So just click on it and it says use this public interface to connect to the internet. After that, click on Next and just click on Finish. Click on OK. It will take few seconds to complete the configuration process. So let's wait for it. And it says please wait while we finish the installation. We are done here, and if you see, now it is green. It means now it is up and running and we do not need to do anything more. So I'll just close this one. Now what we need to do, we need to set up our DHCP server on our domain controller. So for that purpose, this time I'll click on Add Roles and Feature. Again, I'll click on Next. This is my server. I'll click on Next again. And this time I'll select DHCP server. Here it is. Add Features. Click on Next. Again, click on Next. Again, click on Next. And from here, just click on Install. And now the DHCP server will get installed into our Windows Server 2019. Let's wait for it. Now again, go to your tools and this time go to your DHCP. Again, it will open a window in front of you. This is how it looks like. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to increase the size of this. Now open your sb.mydomain, then open your IPv4 and now right click on your IPv4 and from here click on New Scope. Click on Next. Well, here we'll give the IP address. I'll write here 172.16.0.100-200. Basically, I'm giving it the range of IP addresses that I'm going to use. After that, click on Next. Here, I'll write the start IP address. Obviously, it will start from 172.16.0.100, and for end IP address, I'll go with 172.16.0.200. And here, in terms of length, I'm going to go with 24 subnet mask. Then click on Next. And here it says add exclusion and delay. It means what are the IP addresses that you want to exclude. I do not want to exclude any one of them, so I'll just click on Next simply. And here it says set the duration for scope leases when distributed by this server. It means after how much time you want your IP addresses to get expired. For example, let's say you have an organization and in which you have around 80 to 90 people and you want every person to have new IP address each day. For that purpose, you can set 8 hours, you can set 1 day means 24 hours, or you can set any time limit. After that time limit, that IP address for that particular person will expire and he or she has to get the new IP address. So I'll go with 1 day. After that, click on next. And here it says, yes, I want to configure these options now. Well, I'll just click on next. Here it says to add an IP address for a router used by clients, enter the address below. Obviously, I'll use the same address that I have been using till now. After that, make sure to click on this add button. Now click on next, and here you should see this IP address in this section. If you do not see it, do not worry, you can add it manually from here and then click on this add button. After that, just click on next. It says Win server, leave it as it is, just click on next, again next, and just click on finish, and you are good to go with your DHCP server. As you can see at this moment, it is down and not running. Right click on your My Domain and click on Authorize, and right click on it again and click on Refresh. And here you can see now it is green, it means it is up and running. So now we are done with setting up our DHCP server. Click on Configure this local server, and from here we are going to disable our internet security. Here it says Enhance Security Configuration. Just click on this unknown, and from here make sure you turn off both of these options. After that, click on OK, and we are good to go. Now open your Internet Explorer in your Windows Server 2019, and here I'll paste a link that I'm going to use to download the script that we are going to use in our PowerShell to add users. So I'll just paste the link, and I'll give the link in the description of this video. Hit enter. You have two options, either you can open it directly or you can save it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just save it, and then I'll show you that what it is and what are the different files there. I'm going to open my Files Explorer. I'll go to my download section, and here we have our file that we have just downloaded. I'll just open this one. This is a zip file. We need to unzip it. So this is the folder that we need. I'm just going to drag it and drop it onto desktop of my Windows Server 2019. We are done with this step as well. After that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to close my File Explorer, and then I'll open my PowerShell. But make sure you open your PowerShell with administrative privileges. So first of all, let's search for PowerShell. We need to open PowerShell ISE, and I'll right click on it, and then I'll open it as Run as Administrator. So here we have our PowerShell up and running. Before we move into our PowerShell, let me open the folder that we have just downloaded, because there is something that I want to discuss in here. This is the file with names. In this file, all the names are there of the users that we are going to add into our Active Directory through our PowerShell. What I'm going to do here, I'm just going to copy some of them, like 10 to 12, and after that I'm going to delete every name from this list. I'll paste those names that I have just copied. I'll save this file because these are more than 1000 names, and obviously this will take a lot of time for our PowerShell to add these users. And here we just want to check out, and we just want to see if we can do it or not. If we can add other users later as well. So I'm okay with these number of names, so I'll just close this file. Let me close this one as well. Now I'll open my PowerShell, and here we have folder. I'll just click on this icon, and I'll go to the directory where I have my file. I'll go to my desktop. Here we have our folder. I'll just double click on it, and here we have a script that says create users. Down here we have another script that says generate names, create users. This script can help you to create random users. As it says generate names, create users. You can go through that. You can open this file with your text document or Notepad++ or any other text editor to find out the code. We are not concerned with this file. I'll just double click on this one, and this will get open into our PowerShell. This is the code. This is how it looks like. Well, what is the information in here? Basically, this is the password for every user that we are going to create, and this is the path of the file where we have the name of the users, and then we have some other information. And if I scroll down, here we have background color black, and this is the foreground color. You can change it as per your liking as well. Before we run this file, we have to do one more thing in here, and that is right here, set dash execution policy space unrestricted. After that, just hit enter. Here we have an error, and this is because we have written the wrong spelling for our execution policy. So I'll write here set dash execution. After that, if you hit tab, it will complete the command on its own. Give it a space and now write here unrestricted. And again, I hit the tab and it has taken the command on its own. Now if I hit enter, and now here it has prompted us with this message. Click on yes to all and do not worry. And now we are good to go. Now in order to run this file, first of all, we have to go to the directory or the location where this file exists. So for that purpose, I'll write here cd space c colon slash. Here we'll write users. After that, again, if you write here slash, it will ask you about the username, which is z-aslam. Again, write here slash, and this time I'll go to my desktop. Again slash, and we only have one folder in here, and just enter. After that, if I ls here, you will see we have execution file available in here with the name of 1_create_user.ps1. In order to run this file, just click on this play button that says run script. Now this script will run after you click on run once, and it will start to create user and add them into your Active Directory. So we'll wait for it so that the process can get complete. Now let's go back again to our Active Directory, and I'll click on Windows Administrative Tool, and after that Active Directory users and computers. From here I'll show you if these users have been added or not. Here we are. If I open my mydomain.com and further expand it, here we have users. If I just double click on it, you will see we have all these users that we have added from our PowerShell. If you want to check it, you can cross check it as well. As you can see, we have all these users. Now what I'll do here, I'll right click on my domain, and this time I'll click on find. After that, go to your user, contact and group. Make sure you are selected with this option because we have many more here. After that, you can search for any particular user in your list. Let's say I have thousands of users and I want to search for a particular one. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to write here DEARLS. Basically, I'm going to find this user. Click on find now, and here we do have a user with this name. So it means we have successfully added our user through PowerShell into our Active Directory using a script. And the script that I have used in this video has been created by another YouTuber, and I'll put the link in the description of this video about the script, and you can use that script as it is open source and available on the GitHub. Now we are done with everything that was needed to be done onto Windows Server 2019, and now it's time to install Windows 10 into our VirtualBox. So let me just minimize it and let me open my VirtualBox, and here I'll create a new virtual machine. Click on this new, and after that name your Windows 10. You can name it anything. I'll name it as Windows 10, and after that click on next. But make sure you have right type and version. I'm going to install Windows 10 64-bit, that is why I'm okay with it. Click on next, and from here assign the memory. I'm okay here with almost 2 GB of it. After that click on next, create, again next, and this is the directory where it is going to get installed. I'll change this directory. I'll go to my D directory and I'll create a new folder in here. I'll name it as Windows 10, and I'll just click on open, and this time I'll click on save. After that, this is the memory or hard disk space that is going to be assigned. I'm okay with it. Click on create, and now this time click on settings, because there are some things that we need to do. First of all, under the general section, go to your advanced and make sure you go with bi-directional options. After that, go to your system. Here is the memory. I'm okay with it. Then we have processor. I'll go with 2 of them. Then we have display. I'm okay with this one as well. And now go to your storage. Click on empty. Click on this disk with down arrow sign. Click on choose a disk. And I'll go to the directory where I have my Windows 10 ISO file. After that, go to your network section. And from here, make sure you attach to your internal network, not NAT or not to your bridge adapter. Because if you remember, we are going to use internal network. After that, click on OK. So I'll just click on the start button, and now the installation process will begin. Leave everything as default and just click on next and click on install now. Now the setup is starting. Go with custom install Windows only option. After that, click on next, and now it will start the installation process. Here you can see it has started to copy the Windows file, then it will start the installation process. It will take a little bit of time, so I'll just cut this one out and I'll see you after we are done with this step. And now it is starting the services. Now we need to select our region. I'll go with United States and I'll click on yes. Okay, now here instead of signing in with Microsoft, I'll just click on domain join instead. And now here you have to give your name and you can have anything. I'll just name it as Zubair, and after that I'll just click on next. Here you can have your password, and in case if you want to ignore it, you can do so. I'll go with the password, click on next. I'll confirm my password, again click on next, and here you can go with your security question. So I'll select some of the questions and I'll go with some random values, click on next. Then for second question, again I'll go with some random answers, click on next. And for the third one, again I'll select the top question, and in terms of answer I'll again go with random values, click on next, and we are good to go with our account. And now it will finalize things related to our account and then it will move ahead. And now from here, in terms of the privacy setting, I'll turn off everything from here because I do not want anything, and it all up to you that how you want to go with your system in your respect. After that, just click on accept. And now in terms of Cortana, it's all up to you if you want to accept it or you ignore it. I'll go with not now, and we are done with almost everything, and now it will finalize everything and then it will start our Windows 10 in our VirtualBox. So we are back here and our Windows 10 have been installed successfully and it has the internet access as well. Now I'll search for command prompt. So I'll write here command, and here it is. So I'll just click on it, and in here I'll write a command as ipconfig, and let's see what do we get as result if I hit enter. So here we can see that we have IPv4 address as 172.16.0.100. That was our starting IP address if you remember. And here we have the default gateway with the IP address that we have used when we were creating our internal network, our internet as well. Here it says 172.16.0.1. It means it is working pretty fine. Now if I write here ping space www.google.com, hit enter, and here you can see we are getting the response from the Google as well, and we are getting all the packets and all the requests that we are sending in response. So our network is up and running and we are successfully using it as well. Now I'll close my command prompt, and here what we need to do, we need to change the system name. So I'll go to my system and I'll change the name, and I will also join the domain that we have created earlier as mydomain.com. So let the settings open, and if you scroll down, we have one option that says rename this PC. Leave it as it is. Scroll down further, and here it says again rename this PC advanced. I'll click on this particular option. You can name your PC anything, but here I'll click on change instead of writing computer description. So just click on it, and this is a default name of our computer. What I'm gonna do, I'm going to delete this and I'm going to name my computer as Zubair_PC. After that, I'll make it member of a domain, not workgroup. So I'll go with domain option, and in here I'll write mydomain.com. If you remember, this is the domain that we created when we were working in our Windows Server 2019. After that, click on OK, and it says, do you want to use this computer name? Click on yes, and it will open this small window. Here I'll write the username that I had created and I was using to sign in into my Windows Server 2019. After that, I will have the password, and then now I'll click on OK. And here it says, welcome to the mydomain.com domain. It means we are part now of our mydomain.com. So just click on OK, and here it says you must restart your computer to apply these changes. So I'll just click on OK to restart my system. I'll see you after the restart. So we are back, and now let's re-sign in into our system. So we are back with the re-sign in. Now I'll just minimize this. I'll go back to my Windows server, input keyboard and insert Control or Delete. Here I'll go to my DHCP server. Let me enter my password. Hit enter. I'll minimize this one. I'll open my Windows server, go to tools. After that, DHCP. From here is my server. I'll just expand this one, IPv4, and let me resize this one. And here I have my scope. If I just click on it, here I have my address leases. Let me resize this window so that we can see it in more detail. If I click on address leases, here we have an address that is here, and it is 172.16.0.100. And if you remember, when we checked from the command prompt in our Windows 10, we also had this IP address, and the name of the system is zubair_pc.mydomain.com, and this was the name that I gave to my system in Windows 10. So basically, an IP address was requested by Zubair PC, and DHCP assigned it with IP address. So any machine or any user that wants an IP address from our DHCP, you will see this in address leases. And that ensures that we have a live connection between our Windows server and our Windows 10 as well. And now if I go to my Active Directory, so I'll click on my Start button, and from here I'll go to Windows Administrative Tools. Then go to your Active Directory users and computers. So in terms of computers, I'll see if we have any computer available that have connected to us or not. So here it is. I'll go to my computers, and here we have a computer with the name of Zubair_PC. It means it is working pretty fine and we have no problem. Now if I go to my users, these are all the users that we have created earlier. Now what I can do, I can be any of these users to sign in into mydomain.com system. So for that purpose, I will sign out of my Windows Server 2019 and I'll sign it back with this user, that is Snell. So I'll just click on my Start button. I'll click on my profile and I'll sign out. And now to start it, go to input keyboard and insert Control or Delete. After that, I'll go with other users. And in terms of other users, I'll write here Snell, and I'll have its password as password1. If you remember, when I showed you the script, there we had a password as password1 for every user. And down here it says sign into my domain. It means we are going to sign in into this domain. So now just hit enter. And we are back, and we have successfully signed in into our Windows Server 2019 and in our mydomain.com. And that was all about how you can create your Azure Active Directory and how you can add different user in it with the help of PowerShell. And I also showed you that how you can access your Active Directory with the help of your Windows 10 in your VirtualBox. We also saw that how we can create different connection, how we can sign in back with the users that we have created, and many other things. I hope now that you must have liked watching this video, and if you have anything to ask, please leave a comment below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Till the next video, take care.